Hello, in today's session we will see some important functions under the edit menu. We can see over here, we can see there are some segregations for these functions. At the top we can see undo, redo and resend command list. We know this repeat command is G. So I'm not going to get into this. Then we have cut, copy and paste. Cut, copy and paste over here, and again under the keys we see some options called cut keys, snap keys related to keys, and there is something called bake simulation. All these functions are for animations. If you are doing any animations, we have some keys applied for the animation. We can do this editing for those keys. So this we will see when we are learning animation. Then we have delete by type and delete all by type over here. Under this we have duplicate, then hierarchy and parenting. We will go from down. We see parent, unparent. So what is this parent and unparent is? I have a cube. I am just going to duplicate it. Control D to duplicate. I did this, duplicate. Again I am doing Shift D where it says duplicate with transform. So whatever I did last transform, it is going to get duplicated when I press Shift D. When I press Shift D, you can see the duplicate with transform is working. So these are these two commands. Now I will select the cube. I will keep the cube over here. We will apply this parent and unparent using these primitives. So what is parent and unparent? We want one object or a set of objects to follow a particular object or a particular model. This can be done using parent and child relationship. So here under the parent and unparent, one is going to guide and another one is going to follow. So consider this as the parent and this as the child. I'll select the child first, shift select the parent. I am pressing P. So when I press P, this is the parent. When I move the parent, this child is also moving. But when I move the child, it is not affecting the movement of the parent. Meaning child is an independent, but when the parent moves, it is going to move along with the parent. I can parent multiple objects. I can select all these spheres, shift select the cube. Now I am pressing P. When I press P now, these spheres are going to be the child nodes, and this this cube is going to be the parent. So when I move this, you can see all the spheres are moving under this particular parent. When I go to the parent option, we have two things. One is parent methods move object. Another thing is add instance. Instance we will see under this what is the meaning of instance. And then we have this preserve position. If we don't have the preserve position checked, I have this sphere and I have this cone. I want to make the cone as the parent. I'm selecting this and the cone. I'll go under the P. I'll uncheck this preserve position and apply. So we can see this sphere is moving toward this cone, meaning we are not preserving the position. If we want to preserve the earlier position, we have to make sure this preserve position is checked, right? Now you can see it is not moving from its original position. So when I select this option, Shift P, when I press Shift P, you can see skip, it's already a child of the parent word. So meaning when I select the parent and press Shift P, nothing is going to happen. When I select the child and press Shift P, it is automatically going to get unparent. So we have to make sure we are selecting the right object and pressing Shift P. Right? This is all about parenting and unparenting. I'll delete this. Then we have something called group, ungroup and LOD, level of detail. Level of detail is nothing but if we are exporting our models in different detail level. For example, in a particular shot, our model is very near to the camera, we have to see full details or high level of details. And in a different shot, it may be far away from camera, we may not need the high amount of mesh to show the detail, so it can be a low poly model. So depending on our different needs, we can use different mesh level. So for that, this will create the level of detail. For this, we have to create the high level of mesh first. From that high level mesh, it will create different level of meshes down the line. So this is generate LOD meshes, create LOD group, ungroup LOD group. This we will look in detail when we are doing some organic models or when there is a need for different level of details. So now don't worry about this. This we will see group and ungroup. Group and ungroup have these peers. You can see this piece peer getting created under the outliner. The name comes over here. I'll create Control D. Now we have 4 spheres. When I select all these spheres and press Control G, you can see one group getting created, the name of group 1. So this is going to be the first group in this scene. So the name is group 1. When I press this plus button, you can see under this group, these spheres are stacked. I can click the group, double click it. I can name it as new group, right? I can select these spheres individually by pressing this plus button. If there is a plus, we can see there is something inside that group. When you press that plus, you will get a minus symbol, meaning you can again come to the group mode and hide these objects. So when I select this sphere 3, you can come here and do whatever you want to them. Again, when you click the group, you can see all these spheres are getting selected. So it will be easy to handle your scenes in the long run. If it is necessary, we have to go under the group. If we don't want something under the group, click it, ungroup. We can come here, parent or the world, the same options, preserve positions. I can come here and press ungroup. You can see can't ungroup leaf level transform, meaning I'm selecting a child and pressing ungroup. It is not working. Now I'll click this new group and press ungroup. You can see the group has gone right now. There is no group. All those spheres which were under the group are now open. This is one method. Another method, you can select the spheres individually. For example, if you want only these 4 and 3 out of the group, you want 1 and 2 inside the group. Now select both of them, middle mouse, take them out of the group. Just select both of them, middle mouse, take them out of the group. So these 2 spheres are not going to be inside the group. If you want to add them, select both of them, drag them inside the group. So this is how we handle the group. Now you may have some understanding about parenting and group. Now we will see these 2 sets. One is delete and another one is duplicate. Normal delete we know, just click delete button, your object is going to get deleted. Now we created the sphere. Delete we know, just press delete, it will get deleted. Then we have delete by type and delete all by type. Delete by type is for the selected object, delete all by type is for all the objects. First we will see delete by type. Under the delete by type, we have some options. So this constraint motion paths, non-particle expressions, sound, asset and rigid bodies we will see later, because this comes under animation, dynamics, when we are working with sound for lip sync or any other animation, then rigid bodies for collisions, or when we are creating assets, we can use this. So first we will see these things. So what are these 4 options? First is history. It is asking, or it is allowing us to delete the history. So what is that? Deleting history. When I take this sphere, I'll come here. I will do some extrusion to this particular sphere. I'll do some manipulation. Again, I'll do some extrusion. I have a sphere which is edited. So when I go to the channel box, we can see some history from sphere, extrude face, tweak, extrude face, whatever we did with the sphere is visible over here. When I press history, you can see all these things getting deleted. When I press Alt Shift D, you can see this goes off. Reason we delete this, it may be for rigging, it may be for dynamics, it may be for exporting from here to a different software, or from converting from NURBS to polygon. Depending on our use case, this will be useful. History delete by type. Then we have non-deformer history. When I go to the option, there are two things. One is all non-deformer history, and then history before deformers only. What are these deformers? We have a history happening over here. After this, I am going to apply some deformation. Deformation we will see later. There are so many deform options. I have something over here. I am applying some deformation. Don't worry. This is just to show you what is deform history. We have something over here. So we have FFD over here. Then we have tweak and all those things. Again, after the FFD, I will do some extrusion. Right. Now we have something like, we have a model. We have some editing happened over here. Then there is one deformation. Again, there is one editing. I'll go to the non-deformer history. First, all non-deformer history. When I apply here, you can see all those things happened over here other than the FFD got deleted. When I press history before deformers only and apply, you can see whatever I did after the deformer is not getting deleted. So this is the difference between all non-deformer history and history before deformers only. If I applied any deformers, that we can keep it over there and delete all the other history. This will be useful when we animating using deformers, or we want a particular function of deformers to be available in our object. Then we have channels and static channels. Channels are nothing but if we give any keying in the channel, if we do something to the channel, if we key, shortcut is S to animate. For example, now we have something 120. I'll move it up and press S. Now we can see this sphere is moving. When we are moving the sphere, we can see over here only the Y direction is doing something, others are of no use. Now I'll come here, go to the channels. I can delete here, it will be hierarchy selected below all keyable from channel box. Here we have some options. Driven channels we will see later. Then we see shapes getting checked. When I press this, you can see all the keys got deleted. Now there is no animation happening. Now you don't have to worry about animation, just I'm explaining what is this channels and static channels. I'll press Ctrl Z, I'll close this, I'll go to the static channel. Now same options are available. I'll press apply. You can see except translate Y, others are getting deleted. When I apply this, you can see only the translate Y is available, meaning this static channel is deleting all the other keys which are not working. It is keeping only the key which is functioning. So that is the difference between deleting all the channels and deleting the static channel. So this will be useful when we are doing animation, not now. So this is something which we will use in the coming classes. History, delete the history, and delete all by type history. Now when we go to delete all by type history, here also we are getting the same options, but below that we are getting so many options for effects, for particles, for rigging. We are having so many delete by types. During that particular moment, we will see those relevant options. I will delete the channels. I don't want anything over here. Next, we will see these duplicate special and transform attributes value. These two we know. We will see what is this duplicate special. I'll delete all these things. I'll delete this group. Make sure you're deleting the group. Otherwise, if you're not deleting the group and just taking the objects from a group out, the group will be available in the outliner. Always try to keep your outliner very clean. Whatever you see in the scene is different. Whatever you see in the outliner is different. If you want to have a very clean scene, make sure those things are not visible in the outliner. Right? Now, we will see this duplicate special. I'll select this sphere. I'll click this tool settings. There are some options. Edit, reset settings. These are the default options under duplicate special. First is copy, parent. Then we have something called smart transform. This smart transform is where we do the duplicates manually. So if we know the values, we can manually get those results that we will see. First, we will go with applying values. Here we have translate, rotate, scale. After that, we have 3 boxes to input our values. The first one is always going to be X, second is going to be Y, and third is going to be Z. So this is translate X, Y, Z, rotate X, Y, Z, and scale X, Y, Z. I want to do something in translate. I want to do some duplicate happening along with translation. So this I want in Z direction. So every 10 units I want this to happen. So how do I know what is this 10 units? It is going to be the units what we are using right now. It is going to be the centimeter. 10 centimeters, translate Z, and I want 4 copies. I will press apply. So in Z direction, every 10 units we are getting 4 duplicates. It won't count whatever we are having in the initial stage. So you have to minus it and calculate. For example, if I want 6 number of copies or 6 number of spheres, I have to put 5 and apply. You will get 5 more spheres. With translate, you can apply 2 values. You can give Z as well as Y. 15 in Y, 10 in Z, and number of copies 5. Now you can see you get the same value 15 and 10. Same can be done with scale. So I can apply in Y direction or I'll apply 2 Y scale. So it is going to elongate vertically. Now I am press apply. Now you can see when it moves, it is going to get multiplied every step. So we can see from here, when it goes up, the elongation is more. Instead of 2, I'll give something like 1.1. So when you're working with scale, make sure don't give big numbers as you give in translate and rotate. Now when I press apply, you can see there is a gradual scaling happening in these spheres. So this also can be applied to all the 3 sides. Now we can see this sphere getting scaled evenly along with the translation. You can combine them to get some results. So when we are working with rotate, I'll take a cylinder. For easy calculation, I will make sure it is having a subdivision of 10 vertically, subdivision cap 2. I'll select this top, so it will be easy for us. I'll select the face, delete. I'll select these faces and delete. Now we know we have 10 faces. I will delete those 9 faces. Now we have only one face over here. I am going to do some editing over here. I'll add some divisions. I will increase the selection, shift and greater than. Now I'll have some more editing. Right, I'll take these things. I'll have something like this in the first phase. Now I'll go to duplicate special. I will do the reset settings. Here in this we will see the difference between copy and instance. I'll go here, rotate in Y direction. We want the rotation to happen in Y direction. Already we have one copy. Now we need 9 more copies, and we know basic maths. A circle is 360 degrees. There are supposed to be 10 segments, so each segment is going to be 36 degrees. So every 36 degree I want one object to get created. So after 10th object it is going to be, the 10th object it is going to be 360 degrees. Now when I press apply, you can see we have a radial duplicate happen with the editing we did with the first phase. Okay, so this is what will happen under copy. When I click instance, right, when I click instance and do the same thing, when I will come back, I'll go with the duplicate now, I'll apply. When I come here and do a changes to any of these faces, we can see nothing is happening. This is called copy. Copy meaning every object which is duplicated is going to be independent from each other. When we go with instance and do the same thing, when I make a change over here in my old model, you can see all the other duplicates are getting affected. This is the difference between copy and duplicate. When you are working with copy and instance. When you're working with copy, your copied objects are going to be independent. But if you are working with instance, it is going to be connected, a connection between them. This is not going to work in the object mode. For example, I'll select this cube. I'll do a copy. I don't want any rotation over here. I just want some translation. 15. I'll give 4. I'll first go with copy. When I go with copy, you can see nothing is happening. When I go with instance, you can see we can manipulate the components. It is going to work only with the component mode, not with the object mode. If you are moving, translating, rotating or scaling your object, it is not going to affect. But if you manipulate or edit your components, those things are going to get affected under the instance. So this is the difference between copy and instance. So then we have something called parent and new group. So here we don't have any grouping happening because of our duplicate. When I come here, now I will tell instead of group under parent, I want a new group. Let it be a copy. Translate Y 15 units and I want 4 number of copies. When I press apply over here, you can see a group getting created, and under the group all those duplicate what we did got stacked. So under this group we can create the duplicates. If we want a new group, we can check this, otherwise we can leave it with the group under the old parent. So these are the options we get till here. If you want to go with the smart transform, when I click, I will make everything 0 over here. When you have values over here, the smart transform is not going to work. See, when you increase the number of copies, it is going to get disabled, meaning It doesn't want us to give any number of copies because we are going to do it manually. I'll press Smart Transform, right? I'll just press apply, take it down, it got transformed. Now I'll press Shift D. Whatever we did earlier is going to happen manually. So this is the difference between Smart Transform and giving values. We can do radially also. The radially, earlier we saw the pivot makes a huge change in our rotations. When I move the pivot over here, now I will do a Smart Transform, apply. Now I will rotate it. Then we have over here duplicate input graph, duplicate input connections, instance leaf nodes, and assign unique name to children nodes. So when we have children, we want unique name for them. First we will see duplicate input graph and duplicate input connection. So what are these? When I select or do something to an object, it is going to have input graphs and output graphs, meaning whatever we do to a particular object is going to get recorded. Something is gonna come into that object and something may go out of the object. So we know that what is input and output. We have something over here. So in the history we can see that things happened over here. Again I'll go to Windows, General Editor. We have something called hypergraph connections and hypergraph hierarchy. Under the hierarchy we can see our cube. When I click this input and output connection, we can see what happened to this particular cube. So this name is polycube 3. Under the polycube 3 we can see the connections happening because of our editing, like poly split ring, it is getting connected. So we can expand these connections. Whether you want to duplicate input graphs and duplicate input connections is chosen under these checkboxes. When it is necessary, we may have to duplicate with the input graphs. We may not need to duplicate with these. So at that time we will see these options. So these are the things we will do under duplicate special. When we get this to transfer attribute values, we have attribute values over here. We want to transfer those value, maybe from channel box those attributes, or you want to transfer parent-child relationship. So this is for assets. So general options we don't have much. We have out connections, in connections, attributes. We can transfer from one object to another object. At the time of transferring or when the need comes, we will see how this will be useful. So I am not going to go very deep into all the functions under this menu one by one. Only when we are practicing or when we are applying, it will be more useful. So this is just to have an introduction or to know what is under this edit menu. In the next class we will see modify menu and those functions under the modify menu. After that we will continue modeling tools. That's all for today's class. If you have any doubts, please comment below. Please subscribe. We will see in the next class. Thank you.